nothing. That's kind of weird.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Tonight, we start a new round of our Skills for Life principles. And the principles are thought, perception, choice and accountability, cause and effect, abundance and gratitude, health and healing, and harmony and rhythm. Okay, they all build on one another. And if you are new here for the first time tonight, welcome, whether you're watching it live or recorded later. Okay. The things in our community that would be good for you to know is that if we say HHF, we mean help my hair's on fire. And that's a way that we ask for support without telling a lot of story. The four-step protocol that we use in Rapid Eye, if you looked just next to where we are right now, you will see that there is a handout on the four-step self-care protocol that you can download. And Alan said it's pretty easy to do, but he's by next week going to have some instructions so that if you go, oh, I want to download that so I have a copy of it when I need it, it'll be here. So the four-step self-care protocol is what we learn to do to take care of ourselves for good self-care. If you get triggered, if you feel upset, especially if it feels like they made me feel this way, okay? It's a good thing to do when you feel triggered. Excuse my voice tonight. I have a bit of a cold, but I am here. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me the whole time. And I have this really good friend named Tanya that's going to pick up and take over if my voice goes nada. Just warning you, Tanya. Okay. The next things on the community are the Mack truck and the universal 2x4. So what do those mean? The universal 2x4 is when we get feedback from the universe. The ones that make you go, wow, why did that happen? Okay. If we pay attention to the universal 2x4s, they help us avoid getting the Mack truck. And the Mack truck are the bigger things. Cancer, divorce, okay, the really big things in life that you have to pay attention to, no matter what. And anyone who's gone through a separation or a divorce of a relationship or a health issue, especially those ones where they tell you you have 6 weeks to live, okay? When you have those kind of things come up, I would call that a Mack truck because you have to focus doing that. And that's it. Okay. Our acronym for pain, pay attention inside now. Listen to your body. Make sure that you listen to your body. Okay. Next one, the last one there is my favorite that I have been doing a lot. It's called Cancel That. And it goes with thought, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay. Cancel that means if you have a thought that is less than positive, cancel it out and immediately replace it with the positive opposite. Okay. I've been saying all day, my voice works perfectly. I can still talk even if I have a cold. I can do this. And I think it matters. I feel better than I did earlier today. So I'm really glad for that. Okay, we're going to start off thought tonight with a video. And Tyler's going to put it on for us. Here we go.
Your mind is not inside your skull. Science is realizing what ancient mystics always knew. Your brain doesn't create consciousness. It receives it, like an antenna. That's why ideas appear in silence. That's why answers arrive when you stop thinking. You don't create thoughts. You tune into them. You are not a brain in the universe. You are the universe, focused. Comment, I receive, if you felt this. Follow for more hidden
Okay,
truth.
awesome. What'd you think of that? What did you hear?
For me, it it really points to the reality of inspiration, because if your mind is like an antenna, you're a receiver. Your brain is, therefore.
That's great. So, if we're a receiver, and I'm going to call it the pineal gland, it's a crystalline structure in the middle of your mind. If it is a receiver, who are we receiving from? So, spiritually, we might say, well, spirit, God, that kind of thing, inspiration, revelation, all of those things. Okay. Your pineal gland is a crystalline structure. Did you all know that they use crystals to build radios?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing, that the pineal gland is a crystalline structure. And I could go, because I'm kind of a scripture buff, I even think there's a scripture reference in Revelations that talks about, well, we've all been given a white stone. And I thought, you know what? That sounds like the pineal gland to me. That we have a way to communicate. We think we're alone here. We're not. We are in tune. And if we learn how to listen and turn the radio to the correct frequency, we can get what they call revelation, inspiration, all of those things. So think about that. Now I'm going to do a little science with you. In the space between your pineal gland, which is the white stone of revelation, and what you call the pituitary gland, which tells the body what to do, there is a space between there that is full of fluid. They call it the old ocean. And the idea is this, and this comes from science, is that when the pineal gland is activated, and it has to be open, it has to be what they call decalcified, okay? In order to receive that, the signals will go right through the old ocean to the pituitary gland. And then if it's a clear signal, the pituitary gland knows what to do in the body. Now, is there any part of you that finds that interesting? I do. I
Definitely.
like that stuff. Yeah, I like it a lot. And when you talk about, a lot of healers on the planet talk about a neural distortion, that when we get trauma, it causes a distortion in the old ocean between the pineal and the pituitary. And we end up with a distortion, meaning it could be as simple as, my abuse happened on green carpet, so I hate green carpet. And I get triggered every time I go somewhere and there's green carpet. Okay. Now that seems really oversimplified, but imagine, I know a lot of mothers when I used to go to church on Mother's Day, and they were all triggered. And I'd say, why is everybody upset? Because they hear these talks about perfect mothers. Okay. And, and they're all feeling not like a perfect mother. And they leave church with a headache, because criticism, especially self-criticism, causes pain. It causes a headache. So if you go home and you pay attention inside now and work on it, this is what inner work is. You don't want green carpet or Mother's Day to control you and how you feel and your capacity and ability to feel joy. So you want to take care of those neural distortions that get in the communication between your pineal and your pituitary. And I don't know about you, but I do not desire to create cancer. I don't even desire to have this cold that I have right now. I told my brother Kelton, I go, you know, this is your fault. And then I laughed. And he goes, he's had such a bad cold last week. And I've been giving him medicine every day and kind of dealing with that. And then I caught it. So there was something in my experience that said, hey, Lynell, that would be good for you to have a cold right before all these people from back east are coming so that your voice is all, you know, just effed up. So I've been laughing at myself in my creation process of going, wow, I was worried a week and a half ago that because grief is a tricky thing. I didn't know if I would be able to say and express good thoughts to these people that are coming to run their grief about losing their autistic children. It's a bereavement society, you know, and I wanted to say, you know, the thing that would speak to their heart. Okay. And I was worried about that. And it's interesting that I lost my voice, you know, and I just decided I am not going to allow this to be a distraction. So the first lady who I ran, I said, I'm not going to let this stop me. You've come all this way and we're going to go ahead, even when I whisper. Okay. And she goes, well, I guess I'll be paying really good attention, which I really appreciated. So we are a receiver. We are a conductor of our world and the creation of our life. Isn't that interesting? I love that. All right, Tyler, go ahead and play the next video. And remember, I'm going to ask you what you got from this, so pay attention.
Most people don't realize they're trapped. Not by the world, but by their own thoughts. You wake up and think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, do the same things, and then wonder why life doesn't change. It's not your circumstances, it's the cycle. The mind repeats what's familiar, even if it's painful. But you can interrupt it. One new thought. One new decision. That's how a new version of you begins. You're not stuck. You're just rehearsing a past. Stop rehearsing. Start becoming.
Stop rehearsing. Start becoming. Do you love that?
Mhm.
All right. Tanya, did you have anything you want to share?
I just think that when you get to the point that you really recognize that and you start to intentionally shift your thoughts and you get to the point, I mean, because eventually that's going to become routine too, and you've got to look at it again, that it surprises me sometimes now that I notice it in other people. And it's like, somebody will come to me and you get the story and you go, oh, this person is so trapped in their thoughts. They're so running the same thing. Yeah, it's almost like you give them the gift of choose again. you know it's yeah, totally everything that video just said rang true. So yeah.
So, if we're the divine offspring of a God, and I'm operating on that basis, we are creativity in motion.
Hmm.
It's all about creating. And we create with our thoughts and our words. So God had a thought, and then he said, in the beginning was the word. Okay. And it's very powerful to think about that, whether you're a scripture person or not. And when God said, let there be light, there was light, and there was creation, and there was earth, and it began. Science calls it the Big Bang. Did I get that right? And when things formulated, something happened, and it formulated the earth. Now, did I miss anybody that wants to say anything? Cheryl, did you have something?
Um, I want to go back to the first one you mentioned about ideas appear in silence. And a lot of times when I'm just at home relaxing or just doing nothing, I get all these thoughts. I call them like nuggets or gems that just kind of just pour and pour out. Is everyone still there? I got
Yes, I hear you.
okay. So I just get all these like it feels like just nuggets just pouring out, just all kinds of creative things. It's so amazing. So I know that my ideas appear in silence. So being silent, or because I was thinking when you were saying that you had your voice was going out at a certain time, so maybe I was thinking maybe you don't have to say anything. It's just to have them to tune into themselves about what's coming to them about what they need to do. So the whole thing is like, okay, I would just ask myself, like, what am I to learn from this lesson? And so I think that's amazing because everything comes together for your highest good. So whatever's going on is still in perfect order. So
Well, and what happened on that first session when I had no voice hardly at all, she was, her boy was 18 and just
Mhm.
died last September. And I said, is it okay if I touch you? Can I just hold your hand? And I just sat with her and she cried and cried and cried. And she said, thank you. I haven't been able to. And
yeah.
yeah, and maybe if I'd had a voice, I would have talked my way through that instead of
Mhm.
felt my way through that.
Mhm.
So I know everything's in divine right order, and I feel a lot of gratitude just for the fact that what we think matters, each of us. If you think about recording stuff, oh, there we go.
Sorry,
We're
I was
back.
trying to click chat.
um, let's see, where was I on that? Anyway, I just want to say that our thoughts are so powerful. If we really truly think about the divine offspring of God that we are, and what Cheryl was talking to is nuggets or things that came in the silence. I call that personal revelation, that we're supposed to receive revelation and connection with spirit for our life, and to know that we aren't here alone. Just have that thought. If I wasn't alone right now, who would be with me? Okay.
A good question.
Yeah. Have another thought for you. If all of your bills were paid and you had a home and everybody was taken care of and your children's education was taken care of and you didn't have any financial worries of any kind, what would you do with your time? Think about that for a minute. What would you do? And I don't know if it's because I laid in bed as a fourth grader and spent $1 million every night in my mind. I know exactly what I would do, you know, but it was really interesting that, and I thought back about that. The thought was, why was I focused on that in the fourth grade, on that house on Bessie Road with the big yard, laying in bed every night and focusing? Because I remember my parents worry,
Mhm.
worry about money. And now that I know, here's a thought, that worry is a prayer for what you don't want. Okay. And I'm so proud of my parents for moving past that, and that I have learned I don't have to worry where my next meal is going to come from. I know I'm going to be warm tonight. I know I'm going to be okay. And there were times I know in my parents' lives where they didn't know that. They didn't have that. And how grateful I am that they seeded the thought of not just abundance and all of that, but that everything was going to be okay. Everything's okay. I'm learning to breathe. Okay, Tyler, I think we're ready for the next one.
Most people don't realize how powerful the words I am really are. I am is not just a sentence. It's the point where identity forms. Whatever you place after I am, your nervous system accepts as truth. So when you say, I am tired, I am broken, I am not enough, you're not describing reality. You're reinforcing an identity. Ancient wisdom didn't warn against this because it offends something outside of you, but because it shapes what you become. The deepest level of awareness inside you responds to I am. So choose consciously. Say, I am calm, I am present, I am grounded. Not because circumstances prove it, but because awareness leads reality, not the other way around. What you attach to I am is what your system learns to live as true. Most people don't realize how powerful.
You gotta love that, right? You know, it's the great I am. Some people believe that's the name of God. I am. And I think about that a lot, about the study at the Ivy League schools. I can't remember if it was Harvard or one of them. And they put people in a state of feeling and had them say, I feel, da, 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 you know, and measured everything physiologically. And then they had them say the same thing with I am. And what do you think about that? And you know what they found? Make a long research short. The things that you say with I am are connected to identity, just like this video just said. So, what do we want? I am a clear voice that speaks even when it's difficult. I am healthy. I am strong. Everything works out for the best. I am able to work it out. I am able to love. Okay. So if you could have a miracle and whatever you said with I am was going to happen. Okay. God and all the angels are there. Think about this for a moment. If you could, in one sentence that began with I am, what would you create? What is it that you would bring into creation with just your thought and the word I am? So I'm not going to ask everyone to share, but I'm going to ask if you're willing. Would you share?
Could I
So is
say
any?
something? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you there, Lynell. And by the way, you have a sexy voice.
Ah, thank you. Okay,
I think a
Renee.
lot of I think a lot of people forget that when we want something, we have to feel it. We have to have that passion. Just like we have the passion with our negative thoughts and how it pierces our heart and soul, we have to feel it. I am powerful. I am love. And feel it from inside your spirit all the way to your bones and give that out to the universe and to God and believe it and walk it and speak it and feel it. And then you'll be amazed what comes in your path. once you get out, you will be amazed the transformation that that feeling that's positive will start doing for your benefit. So I
I
just wanted to share that.
I love it, of course. Is anyone else willing to share what they would put I am on if they could have anything? What would it be?
I am good enough.
Okay. I love it. How about you, Nancy? Have you got one? She might be walking around the convention.
No, get the mute button.
Yeah.
It's, I am getting my house in order,
Ooh,
the
love
junk
it.
pile in order.
You're gonna, you're gonna have a feng shui miracle. I love it. That's great. Tyler, have you got one?
I have one. I am increasing in efficiency.
Love it. Love it. Gosh, that could cover everything when you think about it. That's great. Marion, you got one?
I am peaceful. I am calm. And I send that to every cell in my body because there's some messaging going on right now that I am seeking the understanding of what's the learning through all of this. What's the universal message? And I think I appreciate how you spoke about receiving the crystal capacity to receive, the crystalline capacity, and that exactly what Cheryl said, to choose into peace and calm and quiet at times means we have the capacity to receive the message. And the message is specific for us, for each person. I love that. Each member
Yeah.
of the whole of humanity has personal messages.
I love it. Thank you for being willing to share. Alan, do you have one?
I am here,
Oh,
grounded and ready to work, ready to go.
yeah. Wow, the beauty of presence. One of my trainers in training named Misty, she just wrote, one of their assignments is to write a thought on mastery. Okay. And she chose present. I love that. How powerful. If you're totally present, you're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're present. How wonderful it is. Thank you for sharing that. Who else has got one? Anybody? Am I missing anybody?
I have one. I am connected with consciousness.
Love
So I
it.
like that because I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying that, there's this wars going on and everything's war going to start. You know how people just kind of say that, there's going to be wars. And I said, collectively, we can all change that. We have to accept that as a reality. If we collectively put our consciousness together, it's going to be higher and vibrate higher and make a big difference. So I am connected to consciousness is one I like to.
I love it because think about that. You guys are all sparking me because if you were connected to consciousness at all times, you could just ask the question of the moment, what is wanted right here, right now, and then go for it. I love that. That is wonderful. Anyone else want to share?
Hey,
Okay.
Lynell.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. So I take the I am and then you had mentioned put all your senses on it. What does it sound like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? And then when it's the dread, then I just immediately think about that taste. It's like cotton candy in your mouth, bam, and all four senses all at once, just and the dread disappears, and all I can think is the good stuff, that nice warm blanket around me.
I love it. That's great. Adding your senses because the most powerful thing right now in the universe is a soul, a spirit in a body. Okay? When you're in the body and experiencing what we're experiencing here on earth, to learn universal laws, to choose how important that is, and that we have the free agency or the free will to do that. And all that takes is remembering a thought. Hey, no matter what's happening, I can think of this differently. I really can. I can put another spin on it. Okay? What's the sweetheart message? Because sometimes I'll say that to people when they're going through something really bad. Well, what's the sweetheart message in this? And it makes them, they just go through this like juxtaposition. Is there a sweetheart message in this really bad thing I'm going through? And you know what? Almost always they come up with one, but they just hadn't taken the time or the energy to have the thought. So, Marion, did you want to share?
There, to have the ability to feel it, to taste it, to touch it, as Nancy and Benet were speaking about, to activate the emotions. There is a universal desire that no matter how we experience being in the body, all creation is cheering for us, because everyone wants an opportunity to be human, to be in the body and have the ability to touch and feel and smell and hear and experience and interchange. And there's times when I recognize that I get backwards. I think, oh, I want to get onto the spiritual level. I want to get into, oh, I want to be able to zip here in the universe and zip there. And then I go, and I gave everything to get here and now. This is exactly where I wanted to be. And so I hope that appeals to all of us on some level. We chose in. And there's some historical perspective or spiritual message of we shouted for joy. We chose in. And it's a big deal. Anyway.
And I know when I'm in a hard thing, and I'm in a couple of hard things right now in my life, but I remember thinking, I shouted for joy for this. what was I thinking? But the thought of that changes the perspective. Okay, it changes the thought that, oh, it's like the Lion King movie and the great cycle of life. Sometimes I don't want life to end. Sometimes I'm thinking, I'm glad I'm done having my kids. I wouldn't want to bring a child into this environment, the world. And then I change the thought. I go, it's all in divine right order. What's going on in our lives? And running these parents that have lost an autistic child, you might think that, wow, how come aren't they happy that they're in a better place and they're free and well, there's something about being in a body. And I think it has to do again with how do you glorify the Father in all things? I talk about this almost every time I teach. The reason is you're taking back to the light or the oneness, the gift of you. Okay, the gift of you. I think a lot of the autistic kids that are here on the planet, they already had it. They didn't have to come. They already, you know, they they have no trouble loving, and they have no trouble. And so I want to tell you about something. My mom's going through, a hospice experience, and we're all in it with her. And Kelton, my autistic brother, has been coming in and out of the house when all my family was here. the biggest crowd of them, he was right here among us talking, and he usually doesn't do that. So the other day, just recently, he came around to the bedroom to mom's window, and she's, on her oxygen, and she was kind of asleep, looking like, like it was hard. And he stared at her and stared at her for a long, long time. And then really loud through the window, my sister Charlene and I were here, and we just cracked up. All of a sudden he said, "Don't die, buy ice cream." Now, those of you that know Kelton will find that to be, he kind of has a food orientation on life. But it was so funny to hear that, because he was saying to her in his autistic way, "Hey, here's a reason to live. Buy ice cream." Because it sure makes him happy, you know? I think he wanted to make mom happy. Just the thought of ice cream for a lot of us can be happy. So I wanted to share that with you, because I am involved in the autism thing right now with the people that are here having sessions, and Kelton, and watching him as we take care of mom. Okay? And I just find it so fascinating that he's participating when so many things in life he has not been willing to participate. Okay? He just wants to go in his room and shut the door. And he's participating. He's here and he's present. And he's bringing joy by reminding us, buy ice cream. So I hope you can get the gist of that. Cheryl, did you want to share?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful story, because what I'm getting from that is he's saying do things that bring you joy. And if we do more of that, we vibrate on a different level, and we're going to attract different things when we're happy or when we're joyful. So I just love that story. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Charlene and I have been laughing at it for days. I thought, oh my gosh, I probably shared it with some of you, but I just, it's sometimes it's such simple innocence that says, and when they talk to people who are about to pass over, and they ask them, what do you wish that you had done more of now that you're at the end of your life? And one of those things was eat ice cream. I would eat more ice cream. I would actually burn the candles that I bought. I would actually use them. I would go on more vacations. I would figure out a way to spend more time with my friends, enjoy. And I realized something about myself a few years ago, why I was exploring, because it was a class on vocation. Why are you doing the vocation? With the emphasis on vocation is more than just a job. Okay. It's what you choose to do. And they were asking me, why do you love facilitating groups of people so much? What is it? Because a lot of people, public speaking is the worst fear. The number one fear just about in life is public speaking. And yet here you are, Lynell. You love it. You can't wait to do it again. What is it about that? And I realized that facilitating is my sense of community. It's my friends. Okay. It's getting to talk about the really important things like spirituality and healing and connecting. And when I was getting my alcohol and drug rotation license, they said they were emphasizing, don't become too close to your clients. Okay. Don't, make sure you have a professional distance. And so they were going around the room and sharing ways to do that. And I said to everybody, I don't really know how to do that. I fall in love with the people in my classes. I really do. And I want them in my life. I don't want them just as a peak moment at a training. I don't, you know, they become not just your family by choice, but having friends and family. It's a rare thing if your family can be your friend, right?
Yeah.
But when you're out there in life and you find these beautiful people that come to Rapid Eye and Reiki and Souls with Stamina, they care about the planet. I love them. It's like, okay, this is who I want to hang with. That is why I love being a facilitator, and that I feel God when I'm facilitating. I can feel the Spirit speaking through me, and it feels like home, and I love it.
Mhm.
And that's why I love it so much. And it's like these months from usually the end of October until March when the trainings start again. I know it's the holidays. I know there's a lot of things going on, but I miss my family of choice and my friends who come and care about the planet. And I like being part of something that is bigger than myself. So have
Mhm.
that thought. What I would do with my time, okay, if I had no financial worries, I didn't have to give a hoot nanny about that at all, then you know what? I would organize groups of people to come and experience your fear in a safe place, experience connection, okay, experience together in community. And you don't have to worry about your money, how much it costs to come and do this. I would love that. Tanya, did you?
Yeah, for me, it's like you you go to one of these classes or Souls with Stamina,
Mhm.
and it's almost like you meet people, and I know I was one of those people that had basically, on some level, tied myself to the train tracks.
Okay.
And these classes and what you help us to see is how to untie those knots before the train gets there.
It's a freaking vocation.
Yeah.
I love it. I never feel more healthy or more happy than when I am in the training room.
And you get to sit back and watch people absolutely transform their lives.
And go for it. It's
Amazing.
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And by the way, I want to thank you that you have been with me on the Souls with Stamina journey for so long. You know, you and Sammy are the longest running people. And Sammy loves it too. He's my son that's on the spectrum. He's also autistic. And Sammy says to me, I have the best friends. All my friends at Souls with Stamina, even though I don't see them sometimes except once a year, I know they care about me. And that's amazing from an autistic person to connect in like that. Don't you think that's great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And one,
really is. It really is. I'm kind of a little jealous. I wish I had a autistic kid because they're so beautiful. They really are. Um, my daughter Scarlett, she's 13, and I kid you not, they follow her. They love to be around her, the way she speaks to them. And I'm like, you're such a blessing. Well, actually, they're a blessing in your life, Scarlett. But I just love that because, like you were sharing, Linnell, how Kelton came and he's like, hey, this works for me, mom. So eat ice cream. I thought, how beautiful is that? How simple, but how pure of heart. That's a pure of heart, a child telling his mom. And I've noticed Renee has expressed this before to me when I met her in person, how he has shown up with her when she's going through something really hard. And he sure really loves his mom.
yeah,
God bless
he
him.
does. When he's really thinking deep, he has this gesture he does. He takes one finger and he goes like this and he says something. I think Alan will recognize it, but it's like he says, don't die, buy ice cream. And I think You know, it's a beautiful thing. And it's so simple and pure hearted. And I think Kelton is, a lot of people said he would never be older than 3 years old, you know, but in a lot of ways, he's grown up. I can tell he has grown up.
Yeah.
And he talks about, if somebody leaves for a while, he'll say, is Amber in heaven? Okay. And I'll say, no, she's in Alaska. He'll say something like that. And so I think he's having a concept of our family and loving our mother while she's going through a hard thing. And I tried to explain a TIA to Kelton, a trans ischemic attack. It's not a stroke and it's not a seizure. It's right between. And I was trying to explain to Kelton, that, hey, mom's having these things that happen. And sometimes it's painful for her, and he did this thing. He's like, no, drink water, feel better. Because that's what we've taught him. And I loved it. I just loved it that he could do that and be a part of that.
You
I
got to
think,
remember, sorry. You got to remember that they're very close to the spirit. Autistic children are in a different level spiritually.
absolutely. Okay, Ty, let's have one more video. I know the one you'll pick is the right one.
This neuron exists only in the human brain. The rosehip neuron is one of the rarest cells ever discovered in neuroscience. Hidden deep within the cortex, it acts as a silent regulator, suppressing neural signals with extreme precision rather than amplifying them. Its dense, rose-like branches form tight, selective connections, allowing it to fine-tune thought at a microscopic level. Yet, no one knows exactly what it does. What makes it truly extraordinary is its exclusivity. It has never been found in any other mammal. This points to a role in uniquely human abilities: self-control, abstract reasoning, and conscious awareness. The rosehip neuron suggests that what separates us from other species isn't a bigger brain, but a rare, finely tuned cell quietly shaping what it means to be human.
I love that. I love that. So even the naming of it, you know that rose oil has the highest vibration or frequency of all the essential oils. And think about that for a minute. On the neuroscience of being a human, we have things within us that aren't anywhere else. Okay. I mean, I know you hear a lot about our DNA is not that far from a daffodil. I've heard lots of stuff, but I'm saying we do have something that makes that we have, because we are the divine offspring of a God. And that is the ability to form thoughts, to actually think a new thought, to actually create something new, to have inspiration. And our thoughts, everything begins with that thought. So no matter what we're going through and no matter what's happening, and I'm watching my sweet little mom do it right now, everything she's ever taught. She told me the other day, she says, I'm getting to walk everything I've ever said. In the moment, I don't think she was that happy about that. But she got it. She's like, oh, appreciating a body, even when it stops working for you. Can I still sit in gratitude? She said to me, Lynell, just sit with me in gratitude for everything that's happening right now. It's all in divine right order. I kind of just sat there and cried because I didn't want it to be in divine right order, that she had a little bit of that pain going on. And in that moment, her right leg wouldn't work. And she was like, I don't like these TIAs. And I said, don't worry. The good thing about a TIA is it comes back. It's not lasting like a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be good. Tomorrow you will stand up. So I hope that I have been, in some small way, been able to come across to you tonight that thought is that powerful, that we are the divine offspring of a God, and we believe and we know and can experience creation, just like our father and mother, the ones up in heaven, that we are that powerful and that your thoughts matter. So add to the thought of positive creation and consciousness, positive lasting change, not so much what you hear going on in the world. Just don't give it that much energy. It's okay to be aware, but to move forward. So, Tyler, I would love to hear the song for tonight, your latest creation. Speaking of creativity, woohoo. So, whenever you're ready.
Seeking results as I find my many efforts spent, risking never to lay eyes upon the product of intent. As I check out my surroundings check me out, looking at me, wondering why I could be in doubt. It's fair, I'm more than mere experience and more innate than not. Above the still things of the earth, more than unmoving rocks. I'm the one that transfers them from their resting place. I can't be doing that, have them part from me just to make way. My voyage is more valuable to recall all the times the thought has gone to object. My memory cannot lie. I'll use the drive from all the triumphs that from their time abound, with the force of the same thinking to picture what comes out. Drawing on the space where memories drawn from what it knows. My contemplation takes me where only thinking there can go. Whether in cognition or spelling it on board, it needs a place to spring from, to land and make it mine. I am not alone. I was made to have a guide, not to mention all the ones that have walked along my side. Add the wholeness of my being clever to the brim. I'm equipped with features well supplied to take my pick where to begin. A masterpiece is beautiful. In my view, it comes around, recollecting its beginning and how I wondered how I'm waiting for the next stage, looking past uncertainty aloud, fixed on using the same thinking to picture what comes out. My voyage is more valuable to recall all the times the thought has gone to object. My memory cannot lie. the same thinking to picture what comes out.
Wow. Anybody want to make a comment on this song? Because I know I do, but I'm always a loudmouth. What'd you think of it, Tanya?
That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It was neat to see, um, she had that picture, she had drawn out the picture of the boat, the ship. But even the backwards that she was the little girl on her mother's lap with a drawing of a boat. You know,
It's all
I'm
connected. It's all
creating
connected.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. Anyone else have a comment?
It was really powerful, Tyler, to see where the rocks, where you had the man acknowledging that he went in partnership with the rocks to move, to place them. He built a relationship with them, and they responded to his needs. When they needed to part, they parted for him. And that's a powerful element of thought and creation. That was really well done.
Love it. I don't know, there's something that music can say in a way that nothing else seems to be able to. Is that you guys' experience? Think about how powerful it is. I can hear a song and I'll be back at the prom. Okay? 60 some years ago. I'm that old. Think about that. Music can take you through so many things.
And
You go ahead.
I was going to share also with the beginning, you started out this evening, Lynell, saying we're beginning the cycle again. We're starting with thought. And I recognize that I need to continue to invite people, and it isn't only about a numbers thing. Our experiences are evolving and growing as we go through this process again and again. And what I recognize with what Tyler and Alan are creating with it, what each of us that share, it is a new creation, and it's ever expanding and growing. So maybe I'm preaching to the choir. I just am giving voice to recognizing that on a deeper level now. And I keep thinking, Tyler, keep creating with each of these, because we're going to be at a different creation point. It's so fascinating, And I hope that people that go back and listen to recordings, that they don't just pick one from 3 months ago or the one from tonight and think, oh, well, I've already done thought. I don't need to go there again. It's different every time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know if that resonates with anyone else, but I feel that strongly.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And Marion, ever since our healing center back in Oregon, out back in Utah, sorry. I've been teaching these classes. You've been participating in these classes, and we're still learning. We're still learning.
Mm-hmm.
We're different than we were back then. I remember changing my kids' diapers before class. Okay. That far back, and studying and learning and growing. It's amazing. And I'm hoping that some of the people that come in and learn are standing on our shoulders. They don't have to go through all perhaps the hard learning curves that we did, but they can build from there. But I think my voice is gone. So I love you guys. Love you all.
Time to rest your voice. Receive now. Receive strength and healing for your voice.
Thank you.
Been
Love
sending
you,
you Reiki the whole
Lynell.
time.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Love you, Lynell. Love you all.
Love you
Bye.
guys.
Yeah.
See you later.